All right. Any degeneracy that occurs will now be broadcast. Not broadcast. It'll be up. So yeah. For the first session, welcome. This is getting into game sound. So to start off, I guess we're just gonna hop into who we are. Uh, might as well make it easy on you guys to know who we are without, just forcing you to rely on memory. So this is me. I'm Carter. Um, those are some bands I
Pause.
like. Thank you, sir. I play a couple instruments. Um, I'm gonna take about 20 years to release an album. I don't touch on this at all on this slide for some reason, since it's the game Sound Club, and it's not exclusively about music. I'm also the sound guy on our team. Um, and I was really stubborn, decided to record all the sounds in our game last year instead of using sound libraries. So I've got experience with Foley, live recording. I also directed voice acting. Um, so got experience with all that and music. So I feel like I can help with a bunch of stuff, and hopefully I can grow on all of that with all of y'all, so that we can get to be better sound design gamers. And some sound related games that I like, or games that I think have really good sound, are Doom, Halo, Dark Souls, Dishonored, Prey, and Escape from Tarkov. And you will be hearing the word Halo and Doom about 4 billion times. Now, Anthony.
All right. So, hold on one sec.
Well, Anthony's dead.
Yeah, sorry about that.
All right.
Okay. I'm Anthony. Um, I am a big meme. That's from the Game Jam last year. That picture. Everybody has these like nice like half these. Okay, Carter's picture is pretty godly, not gonna lie, but like everybody has these half decent pictures, and there's just this. So I love music. Music is like a very important thing to me. I was used to be in a band, and I for a long time I thought it was what I wanted to do for a living. Um, and obviously, it's not exactly the case anymore, but I know a little bit of stuff. I'm very critical about my music. Bands I like, too many, but mainly Avenged Sevenfold, Rush, and Unleash the Archers and all that, blah blah blah. Just metal. Yeah, that's a good way to summarize it. Specifically like prog. Yeah, yeah. Wait, what are you doing? I need my slide, buddy.
Oh, did something weird just happen?
Um,
Oh, sorry.
yeah, it did. It's fine. It's back. So I also do programming. Surprise. I've been working on a couple of covers. I'm very out of practice now that I haven't really been doing anything. I usually practice when I drive. Haven't been driving too much, but yeah, that's what I do. Besides that, I do a lot of back-end club stuff. So yeah, that's me.
Oh, it's me now. Hi, my name's Daniel. You possibly some of you know me because I'm pretty active in GPC. For those of you who are there. Other than that, just a little bit about me. I'm mostly a programmer here in the game dev matters stuff, but I'm also very passionate about music. So I know a well bit of music theory, and I have some experience teaching. I've taught guitar, sax. Um, I know a little bit of piano, but not that much, so don't expect me to go too much into that territory. But um, yeah, some things about me is that my music taste is all over the place. If you look at my Spotify playlist, which I can link later if somebody wants. Oh, hello. Um,
Hello,
Or
hello.
stragglers.
Um, yeah, if any of you guys look at my Spotify playlist, which I can link later if you guys want, you can go easily from prog metal like the other guys to Latin jazz fusion to I'm pretty sure there's some classical music in there too, to straight up swing, and everything in between. So the only thing you probably won't find on there, and there's like very few exceptions, so is country music. Please don't make me listen to country music. I don't. I have a thing against it. Um, Other than that, some other experience I've had, I've played in a jazz band before, and I play at church choir, and I'm currently working on a music channel that I posted. It's in Spanish. It's for Christian stuff, but yeah,
All right, and
we can move on
on
to
to Mr.
Hamrush.
J.
He's so
The
cute.
thank you. The laptop fans return. Uh, Straight away off the top, I'm not a big music guy as these guys. In terms of experience and everything, they're the masters. I'm here taking a back seat, learning from them while we're at it. But I'm a very big fan of music, as I'm sure a lot of people are. I'm the hip hop connoisseur. I wouldn't say I'm super versed in a lot of genres of music, but I'd like to say that I still listen to many genres. Um, and other than that, yes, I am obsessed with collecting records. People would probably think I have an issue if they were to see what is inside my room. Um, but I love it. So, and very, very long ago, many moons ago, as I wrote here, I used to play bass and drums. So I still have some experience. So I'm not completely lost here, but yeah, I'm here to learn from my buddies over here too. So I'm here on the ride just as everyone else is.
All right. Uh, all right. So without further ado, with all the introductions out of the way, um, just want to get a gauge of the room, see who's interested in what. Anthony, do you have the? All right.
Yeah.
He is posted.
All right.
Go and react to the message I sent in the chat, just so we can gauge what you guys are sort of interested in. It's in the general chat. Awesome.
All right. Music one's going up. Oh, that is zooming.
Ooh. Music note. Somebody's gone rogue.
They're
Yeah.
just here for the ride.
Aw.
Oh,
Oh,
Aw. I like how fast that one's going up.
yeah.
All right. I like how it's pretty evenly split between the two, because we are gonna try to cover both of them to the best of our ability. There is a lot of focus on music, at least in the sessions we have so far. But don't worry, there will be a lot
Yeah.
of sound focused and kind of sound focused and related sessions as well. All right, cool. So that's good to have. All right, now getting into the actual slides. Here we go. I'm ready to lose my voice here. So part one,
drink some water.
got water beside me. All right, so part one, we're getting in tune. Props if you get that reference. So to start off, start off with game sound. You're gonna need a few things. So first off, you'll probably need a DAW, a digital audio workstation. So they're how you make music, plain and simple. It's how the pros do it. It's how Daniel does it. It's how you start up your bedroom rock band solo project in 2020. It's how everyone does it. So it's pretty essential to creating sounds for games, obviously. So a few DAWs that you might know, and if not, it's fine. Audacity, it's free. Everyone should have that because it's open source. It's completely free. It's got a ridiculous amount of features, and it's great, honestly. FL Studio is widely used throughout the program, I've noticed. So is LMMS. Cubase, Pro Tools, Reaper, Ableton, even GarageBand, any of those could work as a DAW. Then you have game engine middleware, which is how the game makes the sound, or how the game plays the sound. So you get things like Fmod and Wise. We use Fmod mostly in this course. Wise is pretty big in the industry, so it's good to know both. Um, but both act as middleware to integrate the audio into the engine properly. This is something that you'll be looking at in second years. Intro to game sound if you're in first year, or you've already done it if you're beyond that. What you're gonna need is some good headphones or a speaker system, because that way you can actually hear the quality sound. And having a quality sound system is arguably the most important thing, because you need to know if it sounds good on the highest quality stuff to really know if it sounds good. Hearing the full range of the sound is paramount to ensuring that it's actually a good experience in the game. And kind of in line with that is testing it on a variety of systems. That's really important too. So testing it with headphones, studio monitors, car speakers if you want to, TV speakers, your phone, pretty much everything that has a speaker on it. Test it on everything just to make sure that the audio is mixed as good as possible.
Also, just to add to that, um, we're gonna have a little discussion after this session is over about setup and budget and stuff. And we do want to make it clear that it's absolutely not necessary to get like the most high-end stuff right off the bat, especially if you're unsure about whether or not you're gonna like it. But yeah, it is good to be able to test out your different things in different places. But you don't need like the best, like most important, most expensive speakers or microphone to start off.
Yeah. Uh, so yeah, we'll be getting more into that towards the end. We'll be delving into budgets and that kind of thing. So another thing you're gonna probably want is an audio interface or a sound card. And this basically converts the like raw sound input into virtual stuff, digital stuff, if you will. The sound booth has one, which is sad. Reminds us of what we're missing out on at home. And obviously, since we don't have access to the lab, um, it's good to just know at least what they have. Um, so they have a pretty simple audio interface there. It's just got two inputs, but I have the exact same one, and it's been working wonders for me. Um, these things really make recording music so much easier than just miking everything with a USB mic. And this way you can even plug in an XLR cable, which the mic you're hearing right now is plugged into an XLR cable. So it gives you a higher quality and cleaner result. And from there leads into you're going to want a microphone. Either whether it's like even if it's just like a laptop mic, like the one built in, or like a Blue Snowball or something, or one of those portable microphones that have like 6 mics on it, and it just records like one of those handheld recorders. Anything really is good, depending on what you need. So mics are kind of what you need to record stuff, obviously. Daniel, you were gonna say something?
No, it's okay. We can
All right.
talk about it later.
I do have a fun fact. So Amy Lee, vocalist from Evanescence, I saw this the other day on her Instagram. She was talking about how she started off but with like layering her voice in choruses by literally using these like VCR recorders, or I don't remember exactly what she said, but she would just play them back at the same time to see like how it would sound. So it's not like again, it just goes back to like just use whatever you have and get totally like grease monkey about it.
Anything you have at your disposal is going to be good. The microphone doesn't even necessarily need to be connected to your computer. It could be something like a little tape recorder that you have that normally people take out of their pockets to record like interviews with or something. You can use that and play it back off of that. Take the audio off of it later and manipulate it however you want. Just anything you can use, anything you have on hand works.
And even your phone. Like, I recorded some sounds for the game last year in the stairwell at the school with my phone. So really anything you have at your disposal really is good, and you should be using it if you want to make sounds. All right. So you're probably asking now, where do we start? So you should probably ask yourself a few questions to really nail down if this is something you really want to do. So a few things that come to mind are you going to focus on just sound design or music, or both? Which is part of why we asked that in the chat. What do you like about what sounds and music can do in games, and how could you replicate that? What games come to mind when you think of good or bad audio? And all these questions should be floating around your mind and really get you thinking about how the sounds are implemented in the game. Thinking about the cues for everything, the sound sources, the mixing of the sounds and the music, making sure nothing kind of overpowers anything else. And just really making you more conscious and aware of the soundscape of the game. So that's a really good place to start, just being conscious about it. And now that is out of the way, we're going into part 2, because getting started is scary. It's kind of overwhelming, and since it's spooky season, it's spooky. That joke is worse than I remembered it. All right. So how to start? So first off, we're gonna start with all the general stuff, and then we're gonna get into the sound design specific things, and then the music specific things, and then after that we're gonna go beyond that. So one of the first things you need to do for both sound and music is to really nail down the food and the feel and the mood of the game first.
That's a
Also,
mood.
make sure you have a
Also
full
make
stomach.
sure you have a full stomach, because it's kind of late and you don't want to be thinking about food and then actually say that word during the presentation. Yeah, knowing the visual and the gameplay experience, I am all over the place, is really paramount to making your soundscape work, since it should all be contributing to the whole that makes up the game. Feed everything into each other, use it all to express the feel of the game, and keep everything from the visuals, the UI, gameplay, sound, music, keep everything adjacent to each other so that it can create a stronger sense of cohesion. So find the vibe first and then go from there. I cannot stress this enough. Use references. With so many games having been made, and beyond that, just so much musical experimentation and sound design in films, TV, just music itself, and all the really cool sound things that have been done over the years. There's so many things to draw from, and all of it can be used to influence you in your work. Draw from multiple sources, throw it all in a blender, put in a bit of your secret sauce if you want, if you have any, and if not, just, I don't know, throw in what you have and make it yours. For an example of this, our game last year was really dark, kind of grotesque visually, and we wanted it to play like classic FPS, mainly like Doom and Quake. So naturally, we took inspiration from Doom. It was also set in a heavy sci-fi setting, with neon lights and everything, kind of that sort of vibe. So all of that got rolled into a heavy industrial metal kind of feel from Doom, with a bit of synthwave thrown in to represent all the sci-fi. And the sound design was really focused on being kind of abrasive and harsh. And if you know the sounds from the game, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about, because the enemies basically just do death growls at you. So yeah, use references, make it your own. What'd you just say, Anthony?
No, I just said it was a great design. It was wonderful.
Fun fact: a lot of those death growls are Carter.
All of them are. Yeah.
Literally.
Literally not even like edited or like changed, or it's just
Yeah.
Carter.
Also, fun fact: nobody wanted to turn the volume down.
Uh,
I was a very loud game. That's a maybe another
yeah,
discussion
that's
topic.
something to touch on later, like how to mix everything properly. Um, so yeah, as another kind of addendum to the reference point, listening and really hearing the landscape or the soundscape really helps with this. Thinking about the triggers for the music and the sound cues, thinking about how the game works to make it all seamless, or distracting in bad cases. Being conscious of all this, it will really help improve your capabilities and your design. Uh, so this one's a good one. It's kind of a weird one to read, but there is no standard process to follow when it comes to creating audio. Now you're probably thinking, okay, what's this club gonna do then? Why are we here? But the answer to that is that giving you enough information to find your process for your game. Every project is usually different, every person is different, so the process is going to change from person to person and project to project. But having the knowledge on how to do these things in different ways will really help you to find your best process for optimal results. And the best part about this one is that it can and probably will change for every single project you do. And I don't know, it keeps you on your toes, makes things interesting. Something Mick Gordon said in his GDC talk about Doom's music that I've seen probably like 20 times is change the process and you'll change the outcome. And that was kind of like the whole thesis of his talk. Um, but it's a really good message because approaching each challenge differently, or even the same project differently, if you're unhappy with it, which was the case for that. Like he was told no guitars, no metal. They don't want to be associated with that. So he did a lot of heavy synth stuff, and then it didn't really work. So then he put in some guitars, changed his entire process of how he was gonna do all the synth stuff, and then we have the iconic Doom sound. So approaching it in a completely different way can vastly change the result, and this applies to sound, music, pretty much everything, but we're going to keep it to sound and music here. And to top off this slide, variety is one of the most important things in regards to audio, because hearing the same things over and over again is a surefire way to make someone, particularly the player and you, hate it really quickly. Like if a microwave beep is going off every 40 seconds in the game, you're going to hate it. You're going to mute the game, and you're just not going to have a fun time. So building the music in layers over time and swapping out sections to different loops of the same track will really work wonders to make something less repetitive. As for sound effects, having multiple sounds for the same action or event is key. And then on top of that, you can even add slight pitch variation to add just a bit more variety. Another example from our game last year, Primordial. There were 4 characters. Each of them had unique voice lines. But if you got hit, no matter what the character was, it would play one of like 20 or so grunting noises. All of them completely unique, all of them different voice lines, all of them with slight pitch variation. So even if you heard the same thing like 3 times in a row, it wouldn't be exactly the same. So even that, like even if that 1 in a million chance happens that you get the exact same voice line several times in a row, it's still got a bit of variety patched onto that.
Another good example of this is Minecraft. Any of the, if you've ever played Minecraft, which you have, you'll notice that the sounds sometimes will play and they'll be the same, but they'll be like higher pitch and faster, or lower pitch and like slower. Yeah, that little bit of variation added a lot to the game.
And yeah, I was actually going to talk about Minecraft as well. Variation doesn't necessarily have to be have 20 million different sounds and play a different one each time. It can also be just don't play anything sometimes, and then have those rare chances where you actually do play something. For example, like the actual player character for or Steve in Minecraft, whenever he gets damaged, you'll hear most of the time you'll hear the actual damage being done to him, but you'll barely actually hear him make a sound except in those very rare cases where you hear the ooh, right? So variation doesn't necessarily have to be make a ton of sounds. It could just be play some sounds very sparingly.
Mm-hmm. And now onto sound design stuff. So again, jumping off of that last point, making sure that the sounds you hear most frequently, those ones should be really solid and just as perfect as you can get them. Because if you're hearing it all the time, you're going to want to prioritize it so that you don't drive the person insane who's playing it. And again, microwave beep, nobody wants to hear that every few seconds. Somebody wants to hear a really good sound or like a really high quality sound every time instead. Another really good thing to do is to use placeholders often. They're great in that you can hear something regardless of its quality. So it's still providing the player with feedback as the intended sound would. So it's good to use to test out systems and make sure that a sound isn't out of place there. And I think it's funny because I actively avoided using these last year until I needed something off of YouTube. But sound libraries, they exist for the purpose of being used. And some of the most iconic sound effects in games are stock sounds. Like all the doors in Doom, the original games, all of those sounds are complete. They're just stock sound effects. Pretty much every sound effect in Doom is a stock sound effect. A lot of the Halo sound effects are stock sound effects, which is crazy because whenever you think of those games, you think about their sound and what they did for sound design. So using them as is perfectly valid, but modifying it, if you got the license to, ensures that it fits exactly what your requirements are and what you want it to do, and it makes it more yours, which will help making the soundscape a bit more cohesive. And making slight modifications to things can add tons of mileage to what you have. So let's say you take a door sound. Let's say you just reverse it. And that is exactly what Doom did for the doors opening and closing. It would open, it would play normally, and then when it closes, it would play in reverse. Or it would take like the death sound and slow it down, and then that would be the imp death sound. So really thinking about how every sound could be used in different ways can add a ridiculous amount of mileage to what you have, and it'll help you from just bulking it up with hundreds of sound effects. And on to the music part of it. Again, use references whenever you can. Listen to game soundtracks, listen to different genres. All of this will help you to broaden your scope of music so that when you're narrowing it down to your game, it can be as focused as it can be. If you're really having trouble finding the feel of it, there's no problem with that at all. Listening to similar game soundtracks will help. And again, just different genres, really kind of expanding your musical horizon so that you could see more of the horizon, I guess. And then that way when you're really narrowing down on what you want, that way you can go like, okay, there's a bit here that I want, but there's also some stuff over here that I think would work. Again, going back to Primordial as an example, I'm just using this example a lot because it's the game that we actually worked on, so I know it well. So for that, I listened to Doom, obviously. I listened to Halo's music a lot, but I also listened to the Wolfenstein OST and a lot of synthwave and Outrun music. And from all that, I kind of just picked and chose what kind of sounds I wanted in the soundtrack, and then went from there. Noodle around. You will find something. Just kind of playing around without any background is immensely helpful in finding things that you can use. At the same time, playing to a backing track and just kind of noodling over that in the same key is also really fantastic for finding neat little things that you can throw in your melodies. And it's fun to do. It's good practice. But this way it can also improve your playing or it can improve your writing. Work within limits. It keeps you from going overboard, and setting limitations for yourself is really important in most aspects of art, especially games, because overscoping is a huge issue. So, in a similar vein, limiting yourself when composing will keep things focused and will really help productivity in that you won't be thinking about how much there is left to do if there's a ton. For example, over orchestrating, that can really lead to music being far too cramped and too busy. So instead of doing that, maybe you could limit it to, okay, I just want a couple of tracks per song, like just a couple of violins and then a few other things and then percussion. That's it.
Maybe working within limits as well helps you to actually come up with ideas a lot of the time, because you're not trying to think about, oh, well, like for orchestration specifically, you're not trying to think about, oh, how many instruments can I cram into this thing. You're like, okay, I have these defined instruments, and you have to specifically think about what each one of them can offer and what each one of them can do in harmony with everything else. And you can actually get a bunch of new ideas that you wouldn't have thought of beforehand if you had tried to include basically everything, right? Instead of just like layering, you have to like kind of see what the different, like how you can push the different instruments that you have into other places that you wouldn't have normally thought of before.
And kind of leaping on that, for setting a limit on yourself and just kind of keeping everything locked within a little or keeping everything within the same sort of box. Isolating the genre does a lot of the work for you, because the genre kind of builds out the sound. Like when you think of, say, country music, Daniel's favorite, you think of a lot of twangy guitars, you think of a banjo, you think of a subtle mandolin, and all those sounds and instruments, all of that goes hand in hand with country music. Whereas if you think of, okay, I think of an orchestra, you think of large bands, tons of strings, like 10 or more violins, all with different parts. You think of a bunch of, like, a huge brass section, huge woodwind section. So thinking about the genre can really help build the sound, because it gives you an outline that you can abide to for each piece. And that way, when you're abiding to it for each piece, it helps add to the unity and, again, makes it all more cohesive. So you could use similar orchestrations on all the tracks, which I would say is the best way of doing this, since it leaves so much open to change while maintaining the same sort of sounds from piece to piece. Or alternatively, you can change the orchestration on the same piece, and that alone can wildly change the mood of it. Great examples of this, here it is, the Halo games. So the first Halo theme, everybody knows it. Everybody knows the first Halo theme. It's the Gregorian monks doing their thing. And then there's the orchestra bits that come in, and it really focuses on the drums. And then you go to Halo 2. It's pretty much the same, except Steve Vai gets thrown in the mix, and then it's immediately like a hard rock anthem. And the game reflects that in the feel of the mechanics. Like, now you can dual wield SMGs, it's badass. You're saving Earth. And then there's Halo 3, which changes it again. It focuses really heavily on the piano and really moody and emotional voicings. And then once again with Halo Reach, with its massive drum orchestrations, And both of those represent, okay, so Halo 3 is really moody, it's really sad, it's the end of everything. And then Reach is like, okay, we know how it ends. It's still sad, but it's got a bit more of the wartime feel to it. So the point of all that, the orchestration of the piece and the instrumentation, they're both key factors in changing the feel of it without changing too much. So nailing down outlines of each piece or of the game's sound will really help keep the feel of the game more consistent.
All right, and then just one last thing we wanted to touch on is to not be afraid of people's opinions. A lot of musicians and producers and composers always fall into the trap that what they're doing is either the best thing in the world or the worst thing to grace humankind, because they think that other people won't see it the same way they do. You see the phrase "you just don't get it" get thrown around a lot. Um, but just a little news flash for Aru on the quote unquote good music out there is good because there's at least a small group of people who enjoy it, regardless of how many weird instruments you're using or how many 16th or 32nd notes you're playing in a solo or just anything. And even people who don't necessarily enjoy your particular genre of music, whatever it is you're composing, um, they'll have an opinion a lot of the time on how to make it better that you can sort of contemplate on and take into heart. I'm not saying you need to do exactly what people tell you to change to make it better, because not everyone is always right about their about what you can like. Not everyone has the same ideas you have and how to make it sound better. But it's always a good idea to kind of take into account what other people think of it, and then try to see not how necessarily you can go in that direction, but how to improve it based on that feedback. So basically, what I'm trying to say is feedback is always important. Um, think about how much worse our games would be here in our program if we didn't show it to other people, and then try to gather feedback on it. If we didn't do play testing at all, how much worse our games would be, because it would just be a lot of. I'm going to be honest. A lot of the time, they would just be jumbles of code that would be really not fun to play, if I'm being completely honest. So
Yeah. All right. And that will carry over a little bit into the next slide. So now you know where to start, hopefully. Now you're probably thinking, where do we go now? Haha. And yeah,
where do
we're
we
gonna throw
go
in music
now?
references wherever we can. Just for the meme. But yeah, where do we go from now? So couple things. They're really broad. They could be applied to pretty much everything in life, but never stop learning new things, never stop experimenting, and always try to push the boundaries a bit with each song or sound or project you do. Um, Related to this, one of my guitar teachers once told me uh, about a famous musician. I forget who. It was either Mark Tremonti or Randy Rhoads, if you know them, who already, by all accounts, was an incredible guitarist. But when on tour, he would seek out the best music teachers in the area and get a lesson, which I really dig that, because actively looking for different things to experience, and in that case, gaining the experience of others from all different backgrounds and styles, it'll really help you to expand your musical horizons, and it allows you to have a wider grasp of knowledge beyond what's immediate and easy to you. Um, so applying this to both music and sounds, having a wide array of styles. So for music, a bunch of different genres. For sounds, it could be like more abrasive sounds or like softer sounds that like sounds. The style would basically mean what kind of feeling it would give to the person listening to it. So having a wide array of these really shows your versatility and will help in the future when it comes to potential employment. Because let's be real, they'll want certain things and they'll be very specific about what they want. Um, so, yeah, this doesn't just apply to music, again. You can listen to weird sounds day to day, think about what could be used for Foley to make different noises, think about more techniques for modifying audio to get weird sounds out of them. Like everybody as a kid put their face up near a fan and then started talking into it to make that weird, like Darth Vader voice. So just keep experimenting, take a trailer and try to recreate the sounds from it. Just do different things, and that'll really help your improvement. Not directly related to making the sounds in music, but learning the interfaces and the shortcuts in the program. It really saves tons of time and effort in the long run, and that kind of goes without saying. This one's a bit tricky because it takes a lot of retrospection, introspection, and willingness to be okay with having shortcomings. Recognizing things that didn't go as well as you'd hoped is really a great way to improve, since it gives you a really clear goal most of the time. So let's say, oh man, I really wish the sounds weren't as loud the last time around, because in the last game, everything was at max volume all the time. Nothing kind of, like there wasn't ever a quiet moment. So it's kind of overwhelming. So next time I want to work on making sure that everything is leveled properly. So that kind of thing. And let's say you can't feel like you can really judge it objectively since you spent days of your life slaving over it, which, trust me, I know very well. Leads into the next point, which Daniel talked about on the last slide. Get feedback. It's a surefire way to improve, even if by only getting an outside perspective, all you're hearing is, yeah, it sounds good. Having an unbiased opinion that hasn't heard something hundreds of times like you have really is invaluable and does wonders for improvement. It really helps you focus in on what you're doing right if the feedback is good and what to improve on. And for the last point, a bit of a self-plug. Keep coming to our sessions because we'll be going into learning more things. We'll be talking about like experimenting, learning programs a bit better. And later on in the year, particularly near the Fall Expo, we'll be doing some feedback workshop or a feedback workshop to share things collectively and help each other out where we can.
Yeah, and also one last thing that we forgot to put on here. Anything you guys do, anything you guys learn, please share them, because a lot of people tend to learn from just one person saying, "Oh, look, I did this cool thing by doing this," right? Even like us execs who are like supposed to be teaching you guys, we don't know everything.
Not even close.
And sometimes people come up with weird ideas. Not even close, yeah. So just people coming up with like weird ideas and just like kind of showing them to people can have a huge impact on somebody else's game or project or whatever they're doing, because they didn't think they could do something like what you did, right? So share anything you have, really. Any knowledge, any projects you're working on, any demos you have, anything, right?
Yeah, exactly. And on that note, is there any questions from anyone? Anything at all. It could be related to pretty much anything.
I'm surprised this actually took an hour.
Yeah, I am too, actually.
What resources? Sorry. No.
No. I was gonna comment on the slide thing. No, you go.
I wanted to ask what resources and stuff you guys were aware of for like people who want to get into music theory, because like I really want to learn music theory, but I can't find C on a piano, which is like a joke for saying like I'm a dum-dum. So where do I start?
Okay, so this is gonna be very not helpful.
I love
it.
That's the best kind of answer, Daniel.
I know. This is gonna be very not helpful, but literally anything you can find online will teach you the basics. Like anything from a simple YouTube channel with like an Indian guy explaining to you what the hell a note even is will help you. apart from that, and I'm gonna preface this with the fact that there are a lot of amazing musicians who don't know how to read the first note on a
None
on a
of the
piece of sheet
Beatles knew how
music.
to read.
Mhm.
So
They
Yeah.
didn't know how to read.
yeah,
Man,
They didn't
Yeah,
know
how
how
to
to
read
that's
music.
don't know how to read.
they always told me that reading was an important skill. What the
Yeah,
hell am I doing
exactly.
with my life?
They were all illiterate.
Ringo, what's that say? I'm not sure, Paul. I
but-
can't read either. Anyways, what you were saying?
This
But
sign can't stop me
yeah,
because
no,
I
I
can't
mean,
read.
yeah, I mean, literally anything. The most important thing is to be able to look things up yourself.
Mhm.
And if you're really, really stuck on something, try to find someone who will have the patience with you to actually sit down and be like, okay, this is something you can do, to kind of get it into your head a little better. Because there's a lot of already established rules, I guess, and I say rules quote unquote because music, anything and everything goes really. But there's a lot of already established rules that are very well defined in many different places. There's a lot of different explanations everywhere, but some people might, especially people who know you, they might be able to explain it in a way that you can actually understand it. Because there's a lot of those resources tend to be like, oh yeah, there's this like big music term that you're supposed to already know, and you're like, what? So honestly, like it really comes down to taking, like, say if you wanted to learn how to read sheet music, like actually try to get a piece of sheet music and read it, like see what you can infer from it yourself, and then if you're really not sure about something, ask somebody who knows about it.
On that note, we have a session in the works about music theory, and we also have a list of resources on the next slide card.
Yes.
Card.
2 slides after.
Oh, two
It's-
slides. Okay. Yeah. So
Yeah.
we'll
Yeah.
stick those in the chat, but and it's not. It doesn't
It's
look
not
like
at
it's music
all.
theory, but anyways,
I was like,
I'm going
that's
back to this
audacity,
one.
but you know what? I appreciate
it's fine.
the effort.
It's fine. It's fine. It happens. So yeah, we have a session in the work on music theory.
It's gonna be like a
and
big
a couple of
crash
other-
course of hopefully everything you need to know.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah, it's not going to touch on everything in depth, but
Mhm.
it's going to encompass
Yeah.
a lot of things that tend to be really, really useful.
Cool.
Yeah, and
Cool.
just one thing I wanted to say there, but I didn't want to interrupt Le Daniel. Most of my musical knowledge was either because I took piano lessons from when I was a little kid, and then I learned a lot in high school jazz. But since then, pretty much everything I've learned, except for my guitar teachers that I've had over the years, has been through YouTube. Like I've improved a ridiculous amount over quarantine, and I know a lot more just because of YouTube. So
Right.
yeah, I've been waiting for a time to shill a bunch of channels, so I could definitely pop a ton in the resources thing. A lot of them are guitar focused, but some of them are just straight music focused, and it's really, I don't know, it's been helpful. There's a lot of good stuff out there on the internet. Who would have thought?
A good way to get started is just to find a song that you like and try to learn how to play it on any instrument, really. Like if you want to learn piano, find a song you like and try to learn it on the piano. Like even if you don't know what you're doing, just like plink around on the keys there and try to find like sounds that match.
Is the plink,
and
is
then
plink the technical term?
Yes.
Well, sure. I'm making it the official term now.
Okay, add that to the
But-
GSC dictionary. Plink.
But yeah, literally just like go around, try to find the sounds that match, and eventually you'll come up with the sequence that sounds either exactly or very close to the song, and then you can just like kind of practice that around, and then be like, okay, this is like what the different keys do, right? Like this is what this key sounds like. This is what this other key sounds like, and maybe you can like once you have that going and you have like an idea of what everything sounds like, you can be like, okay, maybe I can combine these in this way, right?
Mm-hmm.
and you go from there. And eventually, like once you start looking into that kind of stuff, you'll eventually come up on, oh, okay, this key is a C, this key is a D sharp or B flat or whatever, right? So you'll start learning those things eventually. But the biggest motivator I can find is always to find a song that you really like and try to learn it.
I agree. So, yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Anybody else have anything? Feel free. Not everyone talk at once. All right. Doesn't.
They're just awed and amazed by the power of Carter talking for an hour.
My throat is raw. Daniel, if you wanted to touch on
that note,
budget.
All right.
Oh yeah. Okay. So this was a little discussion thing. The session is technically officially over, I think.
We got one more
for those
slide.
we do have one more slide.
Oh yeah, like if you want to show it there.
If you have an instrument, send it in the chat. We want to see it, and we want engagement.
Oh, you want to see my instrument? Hold
Yeah.
on. It's in my bag right now. Hold up.
Oh my god, I'm not ready for whatever this is on
Oh,
gonna
me.
be a
don't
rock
worry.
guitar.
It's fine. I mean, that's also behind me,
Ooh.
but that's not the point. Hold on. I don't actually want to like take a picture of this stupid thing.
Oof. One of my humidity packs blew up.
Like just now?
Screw it. I'm just gonna share my screen.
I don't know if it was just now, but it's in
no,
my
I can't do that.
acoustic case. Oh.
Camera.
All right. Daniel, you want to take it away?
No, wait, give me a second because I'm
All
getting
right.
my instruments. Take a picture of them and post it.
Engagement.
Daniel posting a picture of every instrument in existence.
No, if I wanted to do that, I'd need a lot more instruments.
Well, I thought you had every instrument in existence. You're the music boy. You're the one who does music.
This man saying Despacito during the game jam.
Fucking
Ignore that.
Daniel, if you are remembered for anything, you will be remembered for that.
It will be fucking Despacito at 3
Despacito
a.m.
at the game jam.
Here we go.
You guys drove me insane that night.
You're welcome.
We drove our love into the hearts of everyone. Oh, we got a recorder.
You just weren't
I
ready
like
for love.
Oh yes, John, yes.
Beautiful.
Nice.
I don't have a keyboard. My brother has a keyboard. And
Oh,
he's
Emery's got a
actually...
Technically,
I'm
there's
just
a
I'm gonna
Dude.
keep it.
living room.
Oh yeah, everyone pulling out the
Yeah.
recorder. Let's go.
Recorders.
Recorders.
Oh my god.
No, watch some. I'm calling it right now. Somebody's gonna come up with a Zelda ocarina.
Oh my god.
They're my two.
That's
What Zelda
Rip,
song?
sexy.
Julia.
Yeah.
No, see there, Hunter has the ocarina. Maybe not an official one, but he has one.
Harmonica.
Is that a motherfucking harmonica?
Harmonica. Julia, that's not a guitar.
Yeah.
It's
That's
a.
the actual Spanish
It's an
instrument.
L guitar,
it's-
actually.
All right, I wasn't expecting that one. Yeah, it's called a cuatro. It means four in Spanish. It's a four-string instrument. You can see where the name came from.
So it's a bass guitar.
No,
No.
it's actually more
No.
similar. It's actually more similar. It's actually more similar to a ukulele than anything. It's a lot bigger, so it would be more like the difference between a violin and a viola, if that makes sense.
El Spanito.
Yeah.
L ukulele.
That's a word. That's not.
Yeah.
It's not a word.
GST dictionary.
Spanito.
Hey,
There you go.
been waiting for
Hey, ukulele.
take a picture of my stuff, but I'm too lazy to walk all the way downstairs and do that.
Take a picture of your
Oh
records.
yeah, do that.
Oh, oh God, dude, oh my! I'm gonna look insane. Hold on.
Yo, my ukulele. More
Ooh.
guitars and
Ooh,
violins.
violins.
Oh, man's got a setup? What?
He has a music
But I
room.
suck at all of those instruments other than the piano.
That's okay.
Two
No.
instruments of torture count.
Oh, that's nice. I don't remember
I
what
have
those are
no
called.
idea what that is.
I've seen
But-
those before.
They are nice.
Kalimba, yes.
Kalimba.
I love those.
I played a marimba, but not a kalimba.
That's cool.
Oh, my sister. I have an old marimba somewhere. I think I gave it to my sister. Is
My brother
mayonnaise an
has
instrument?
a
No,
black-
Patrick. Mayonnaise is not an instrument. Neither is
What
mustard.
about ketchup?
No, wait. I gotta do the nasally voice.
There you go.
Oh,
No, Patrick.
Julia, I think I have like 40 records or so.
Jesus fuck.
I started collecting them in grade 12, so it's been
That's a valid
um,
instrument, Jiminy. Sorry.
2 years, 3 years for me. Yeah, I got a picture. I'm about to send it. That crate it fits a total of 75.
Oh.
Some of them
Ooh.
are really thick, so that's why. Yeah, but that weighs like 30, 40 pounds on its own. There's a lot in there. That is my contribution to this conversation.
I wish Christian was here to flex the accordion.
Oh,
Oh
Yeah.
man,
Oh,
Yes.
dude, the
the
accordion.
accordion.
Christian would love this. Why isn't he here, man? Come on, Jam Pack. What are you doing?
Whack.
Hold up. Anything's an instrument if you can think about it, right?
except for mayonnaise.
Exactly. That's
Now, hold on a minute.
Is mayonnaise
Except for
an instrument?
mayonnaise.
GSC
So what-
does not
And even
condone
that's
not
wrong,
paperwork
Jemima
items
that
to
I
be
No,
have
see-
in
instruments.
my room.
Even the mayonnaise thing is wrong because Davey 504 already proved us all wrong.
Yes.
Yeah.
Davey 504.
I don't know why, but DB504 just reminds me of Anthony for some odd reason. I don't
I can
know
see
why.
that.
Because he's
I can-
Italian.
Hmm.
It's racism.
Yes.
No, it's also because he's really tall
Yeah.
and skinny. There it is. There
I'm
it
being
is.
That
called
is-
out.
That has this odd dark personality that just fits with me.
Excuse me.
Do you deny it?
I will neither confirm nor deny your statement, sir.
Of course, Yolan.
Oh, man. Yeah, we need the game dev needs some sort of somebody do something where we just have like yoga nights, because man, all of our backs are messed up. At least mine is.
No,
Bro,
Hamlet,
you want me
your
to
back's
bring in
just-
I know an online yoga instructor, GDSA, next session.
Hmm.
Ooh.
Having to sit down all goddamn day is horrible.
Honestly,
Bro.
though, my back is destroyed.
I want to walk around. Like I can't.
I've actually been like so seriously like worried. Like I think it was like no, the week before reading week.
Oh,
Like I was sitting on my chair and then my back started getting like my lower back had like this burning feeling, and I was like, oh, this isn't normal. And I legit for the next day and the rest of that night I couldn't sit on my chair. I was in bed all day. Like it was just too painful to bear sitting in my chair, and I'm officially extremely scared.
I need a new chair. You probably need a new chair too.
yeah, no, my chair sucks. My
Yeah.
butt hurts all the time, guys. My butt
Oh, I just
it
started
hurts
doing
right
Not as
now.
bad as your back though. That's okay.
I started doing
I-
so many. Well, the butt hurting has to do with your lower back. To be fair, though,
I
and
guess
your hip.
it depends which
Yeah,
part.
Matt, are you saying my butt hurting isn't consequential?
Well, that's just because of me.
Oh, that's
Oh!
true.
Just a friendly
Oh.
reminder.
Also,
You were-
you gotta get the gamer
Friendly
chair.
reminder
You were a lot
that
the other
this
day, man.
chat is being recorded by Sony, and I am Sony.
What up, Sony?
We should do
On a
an
complete-
online yoga session. I'm
On a
gonna ask
completely
Mikhail.
unrelated note, Sashawn, I love your profile picture.
Wait, what is the profile picture? Oh,
Oh.
that's hilarious.
Kimberly,
Is that Kimberly
yours,
with
is
the
also,
light in her
yours
mouth?
is also good.
Is Kimberly okay in this profile picture?
Nice.
All about.
You know, also
Oh,
on another
man.
note,
My profile.
I would like, on behalf of the team, to thank everybody for coming to the first session. It means a
Yeah.
lot to us.
Thank
We're
you
very
very much.
excited to be doing this club.
I'm beyond happy that this many people showed up. This is crazy. This is really cool.
Thanks for
Thanks.
clubbing.
Thanks for doing it, everybody.
I thought that was a different thing.
Yeah.
No, not in the
Well,
GSC dictionary. It's actually different meaning.
Okay, so it's not hurting baby seals. Good.
No, that's a different one. That's like a secondary meaning.
I just want to remind everyone who's here, and if you can spread this out. This is more just a housekeeping thing, and then a lot of you already have it, but just please change your server nickname to your actual name so we can keep track of who's who.
And also, Carter, if you want to post those links to Audacity,
I
whatever.
will. Yes. I
Hey.
just didn't want to interrupt
and
the
the
beautiful
channels that you want to
conversation.
spam.
Daniel,
Yeah.
before we cap off the night. Yeah.
Oh yeah, okay.
And
So
I am still recording.
yeah,
by
it
the
was
way.
just a
I just
little-
wanted to get this in.
yeah, okay. Feel free to leave if you don't want to stay. The session is technically officially over, but it's just a little discussion on like your actual setup for starting off with sound. There was like a little necessities. I don't know if you want to pull that up, Carter.
Shall.
The necessity slide.
Necessities. Bare necessities. Bare necessity. There we go.
Simple, bare necessity.
Yeah. So yeah, like honestly, for starting out, if you have absolutely no budget at all, other than like your computer, you can literally just download Audacity and start recording sounds with like your laptop mic, and that's perfectly okay. Fmod, which is like for open source and free, I think.
It.
It's not.
Is it?
But
I could be wrong about that. I
Fmod?
didn't look too much into that one.
Fmod is.
yeah.
Fmod it's free, but it's not quite
Yeah.
free. But for us
It's-
and our purposes, it's free.
They like if you need it, if you're gonna use it for commercial purposes, you need to pay for it basically.
After
Yeah,
a
that's
certain point,
the
it's like
gist.
Unity.
That's-
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, makes sense. But like honestly, to get up and running right now, yeah, Audacity, your laptop mic, some in-ears that you got off an airport, yeah, literally, and anything you have on hand will do. Keep stepping it up a little bit if you want to actually like start getting serious about this. You can get like a cheapo mic. Oh, Guitar Hero mic as
Actually,
Emery.
I have one of them.
Emery's literally
Emery-
using one right now.
Exactly.
I love using that. It
Rock
has the
band
best
mic.
audio quality I've ever used.
Sorry.
Goodness.
Yeah, Rock Band mic. Cakewalk. Okay, Cakewalk is good. It's a good audio. It's a good digital audio workstation. I've only used it like twice, and that was like 8 years ago. So I can't really speak to how it is right now. But it would be basically the same as if you were using Ableton or FL Studio or Reaper, Pro Tools, Cubase, LMMS, anything really. What DAWs would you recommend? What would you use? Okay. As for which one I use, and I know Carter uses the same one, we use FL Studio. Mostly because we got it very very legally.
Very legal.
I'm gonna buy it.
Very
I swear.
legally. Man got jail time, yeah.
Are you still
Anyway.
recording this, Sony? You hear
Yeah,
that?
Sony. I am.
What? He didn't say anything bad. He was just saying it
I'm
like
just
how
saying I
legal
got,
he got it.
It does have a
I'm
free
just-
wrong
trial
with that?
though. The only it has a full feature free trial. It's a fantastic trial. The only downside is that you cannot reopen your projects. So there's that. So as long as you leave FL Studio open, the trial is usable. It's really good. So there's that.
Yeah. Sorry. So what does we use FL Studio mostly because it's what we had on hand and what we learned. FL Studio is super powerful, but it has a lot of features that a lot of people don't need. So if you're literally just starting out, anyone who has an Apple device, GarageBand is amazing. It has a lot of simple features, but a lot of very useful ones. And you can get just up and running very, very quickly. Other than that, Audacity is your best bet, honestly, because it's completely free and it takes you can do almost anything in it if you know where to look. So, and it's very, very, very easy to get into as well.
When school isn't quarantined, are there going to be GSC jam sessions? Now, I want to scream yes at the top of my lungs, but we don't know what things are going to be looking like in the next couple of years. And we're all third years, so maybe, I mean, if things, don't.
If we can convince
work
the
out
next
for next year,
generation, if we can convince the next generation of
we need to
GSP.
find a good replacement for us to carry that torch and to bring the same energy, so we can have some good jam sessions. Not like game jam sessions, like actually like jam
Fingers crossed
sessions.
next year.
Although
That'd
we were thinking of doing like jam sessions, maybe not, maybe like they would probably be inside the normal sessions themselves, but it would be just like a thing where you have an hour and just make anything.
Like a game jam, but for audio or sound. It's just
so that
So just a
might be
regular
something we
jam.
do. That might be something we do. Just spoiler alert on possible future stuff.
Yeah.
I want to
jam.
answer. I want to answer a question that I think we missed. Would it be considered janky to use my Quest 2's mic? I'm not entirely sure what a Quest 2 is, but if it records sound and
the VR headset, I think. Is that what you're referring to? Or am I just completely wrong here?
the Oculus Quest 2, yeah, okay. If you can get it to record,
it'd be a little jank, but
to Audacity, or it like it's a little janky, but if it works, it works,
I mean, this is part of the beauty of it. Better mics or more expensive mics will more often than not sound better than cheaper ones. But the beauty of it is that you
even
can use,
that's
exactly.
subjective.
And even beyond that, like I actually recorded stuff. I don't know if my teammates know this, but bye Josh. I don't know if my teammates know this. I recorded one of the sounds in our game last year with my laptop mic in the middle of my kitchen. So there was a ton of reverb. It was horrible quality, but I threw a bunch of effects on it and I don't think they knew. So
what sound was that?
I didn't know.
Those were recorded in my kitchen on the laptop.
Nice.
There you go. There's living proof right there that you can record off of whatever you want.
It really doesn't matter. And yeah, like the Combine voices in Half-Life, you could, like something like that, you could have literally recorded that in a sewer and you probably wouldn't be able to tell because of the amount of filtering it goes through. So it just depends on what you do with it, but it's definitely workable.
It always depends on what you need and what you want to do, right? So like if I was trying to record a vocal, obviously laptop quality is a thing that exists, and I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying that you can get a cheapo mic and a cheapo interface and connect them up, and you get a significant improvement in your audio quality. But if it's for something like Carter was saying, like the combine noises in Half-Life or the robots in Primordial, then anything as long as it works, it works.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we're almost at 9:30 here, and so I think it would be a good time for us to stop unless we got any more questions. Anything that you guys want to see in terms of sessions, definitely leave
Spam
that in the
it.
chat. Or if
Yeah.
if there's a specific topic that you're like, oh, I wish GSC did a session on this, definitely put it in the chat. We'll probably think about doing it. Yeah, suggestions is the place. My bad. And yeah, so unless we got any more questions, I think we're gonna cut the session there.
Don't see anyone typing, so it looks
Yeah.
like we're good. Again,
Thank you,
so
everyone,
much.
for
This
coming.
is amazing.
Great, you guys.
What's that?
A great session.
Oh, thank you.
All right, and I'm gonna stop the recording right now.